Wait, before you begin, Legislator Long, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
The July 28th, 2026 meeting of the Public Safety Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please read the roll?
Mr. Burgess. Present. Mr. Burgess is present. Mr. Colby is excused. Mr. Cruz.
Presente.
Mr. Cruz is present. Mr. Dondorfer. Mr. Dondorfer is present. Mr. Mafucci.
Here.
Mr. Mafucci is present. Mr. McCabe. Mr. McCabe is present. Mr. Milne is excused. Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith is present. Mr. Stefferson. Mr. Stefferson is present. Ms. Vasquez Simmons.
Here.
Ms. Vasquez Simmons is present. Chairman Long.
Here.
Chairman Long is present.
Please stand for the pledge. Is there anyone signed up for the public forum?
Yes. When I call your name, please come forward to the podium. You'll have 2 minutes in which to address the committee. Also, please do not bring up any signs or props, do not single out any legislator individually, and please conclude when the buzzer sounds. Thank you. Our first 3 speakers are Robin Montemayor, Robin Will, and Jason Youngbluth.
Whoever's first. And we sit here, whoever's first up to the podium.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Robin Momayer. Operation Stone Garden, as stated in the grant, sounds reasonable. It strengthens the nation's border security and capacity against terrorism by enhanced cooperation between Border Patrol and state and local law enforcement. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office has received this grant annually for the past 16 years. Starting in 2018, my town also received monies from this grant. These facts aside, we can't be naive. This isn't the Border Patrol of past administrations. This Border Patrol has done unspeakable things. Their actions in detention centers have caused suffering and death. We cannot be blind to what is happening in our community and around the country. We cannot accept the money from this grant without reading its fine print. Under the section entitled Additional Restrictions, did you know the funds are conditioned on compliance with the 2026 election security priorities of the administration? Under performance measures and targets, grant recipients will be given goals for the number of border-related arrests, the number of overtime hours supporting Border Patrol operations. And under post-award requirements, did you know grant recipients must comply with executive orders from this president? Does Operation Stone Garden sound any different than a 287G agreement that are now illegal in New York State? And now people who speak out about Border Patrol, like me, are labeled as domestic terrorists. Will my county sheriff help Border Patrol track me to protests in the fight against terrorism? So I ask, is sacrificing our freedom of speech and assembly and our right to vote worth this money? Is drawing our law enforcement into actions that could cost our neighbors their right to due process, their dignity, and even their lives worth this money? Is this what Monroe County wants for its residents? Let me close by reading back to you the Monroe County Sheriff's mission statement, and you tell me. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office commits to securing a safe and prosperous community and cultivating the trust and respect of all those we serve by providing exemplary law enforcement services. Only to document its citizens and those who support the Trump administration. Oh, wait, that last part isn't in there. Thank you.
Good evening, honorable committee members. As the Monroe County Legislature considers a resolution to accept another Operation Stone Garden grant, I think the members of the body should remember that the lack of transparency regarding the use of the funds in this grant imperil the Monroe County Sheriff's Office with running afoul of the Local Cops, Local Crimes Act, a key provision in New York's Public Protection and General Government Budget Bill, which was signed into law in July 2026. This bill is part of a broader package of immigration enforcement restrictions aimed at limiting how local police and jails can cooperate with federal immigration and customs agencies. While on its face, Operation Stone Garden is a grant program that provides funding to enhance cooperation and coordination among state, local, tribal, territorial, and federal law enforcement agencies to improve security along the United States land and water borders, the practical implementation of the agreement, especially since it involves cooperation with Customs and Border Patrol under an operations order that is classified from the legislators and from the public alike, may cross the line into prohibited enforcement efforts by the Monroe County Sheriff's Office under the Local Cops, Local Crimes Act. Given concerns about the expanding authority of federal immigration enforcement, it is particularly important in these times of change and uncertainty that elected officials be as clear as possible with constituents about how municipal agencies under their control will serve, protect, and support them, especially where our most vulnerable community members are concerned. To say the least, it would be unwise when the newly created Attorney General's Office of Immigration Trust has been charged with investigating potential unlawful collusion by state and local government employees with federal immigration enforcement like ICE and Border Patrol for the Monroe County Sheriff's Office to enter into a secretive agreement with CBP that potentially violates the public trust, state law, and erodes confidence in local government. I urge this committee to vote no to accepting the Operation Stone Garden grant.
Thank you for letting me speak, and I would like to thank Kelly Cheadle and Rachel Barnhart for bringing this issue to the public's attention. My name is Jason Youngbluth, and I am the editorial cartoonist for the Green Party of New York State. I'm here in an unofficial capacity representing the Greens of Monroe County. Stone Garden is an interesting choice of a name for this program. It evokes images of cemeteries, which is appropriate considering the body count that the Department of Homeland Security is racking up under MAGA control. Every day, the people in this room are exposed to one video after another, one news report after another of ICE thuggery. We have seen people beaten, their property destroyed, their rights violated, and all without any accountability. We have seen children frightened and their parents threatened and humiliated, schools and homes invaded, teachers and poll workers and even elected officials intimidated by masked and poorly trained bullies in demonstrations of obvious state terror. We have seen example after example of ICE agents dispatched to people's homes as a threat for criticizing the Trump administration online, including David Striever, a Rochester resident. And there have been the killings: Renee Good, Alex Preddy, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, Joan Sebastian Guerrero, and more certainly to follow. Now the question before this committee is whether or not Monroe County will take 20 pieces of silver from the Homeland Security Department to further insinuate themselves into our local policing. It ought to be clear to even the most disconnected politician that the public rejects this idea. We do not want more cooperation with Homeland Security. We want the exact opposite. We want you to condemn that department and its leaders loudly. The voters will not forget those who choose at this late hour to cooperate with Mark Wayne Mullen and Tom Homan's Gestapo. And we will not forgive you if Homeland Security commits its next bloody error in our county.
Our last three speakers are Sandra Bollert, Liam Enright, and Jillian Evans.
Hello, my name is Jillian Evans. I'm coming to speak to you tonight to ask you to vote no to the Operation Stone Garden. I am not only a community member, but I have been working as a public servant in Child Protective Services for 20 years, working with and helping families in our community. At this time in our community, there are many families, especially refugee families, that I've heard stories that they're terrified that CPS or local police are going to collaborate with Customs and Border Patrol. I know some families that are scared to even leave their home. Is that a community we want for the people we serve? Agreeing to this grant is not good for the community we live in, the community I serve, and the community that you as legislators serve. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. We already have the federal government trying to build an ICE detention center in our backyard. As we have seen across the country in our community, the ICE and the federal government are illegally detaining and deporting people to whatever means necessary. Voting yes to this grant is opening the door to ICE and federal government to come into our community and collaborate with our local sheriff and police. We do not know the strings that will be tied to this money in the climate we're living in today. Is the money really worth risking the lives of the people in our community that you as legislators are supposed to be representing? I know a lot of you have voted yes to this in the past before you knew the harm Customs and Border Patrol were causing and before CBP agents shot Alex Preddy and killed others, but you do know now. You as legislators have the ability to say no and protect our community. Thank you.
Is there anyone present who has not signed up to speak who would like to address the committee at this time?
Good evening. My name is Liam Enright. I'm a Rochester City resident, and tonight I am urging the Public Safety Committee not to advance the resolution accepting the Department of Homeland Security's Stone Garden grant. I live on Westminster Road in the Park Avenue neighborhood, and I'd like to briefly share what I witnessed when Border Patrol agents attempted to carry out an immigration enforcement operation on my block on September 9th of this past year. On my way to work, I noticed a Border Patrol vehicle on my block, and then I noticed several masked agents carrying guns surrounding a building. I was informed by another community member at the scene that they were surrounding a roofing crew and that one of the workers was her husband. When I returned from work a couple of hours later, the situation had intensified. The workers were still stuck on the roof, surrounded by armed federal agents, and a group of about 50 concerned community members had gathered in protest. Eventually, representatives of the Rock Rapid Response Network and the New York Immigration Coalition were able to negotiate an end to the standoff, with the warrantless federal agents agreeing to leave. As one of the agents was driving away from the scene, he either became spooked by the crowd or lost his temper and sped away through a residential, heavily foot-trafficked neighborhood. I would hope that any reasonable person hearing this could come to the same conclusion I came to. The workers, who had no criminal records, represented no threat to public safety at all, and it was, in fact, the anonymous, gun-wielding federal agents instigating a confrontation with the community that constituted a threat to public safety. To accept this grant, to accept continued MCSO collaboration in operations like the one I've described, under a classified operations order would be disastrous and would run counter to the objective of making our community safer.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have the June 23rd, 2026 minutes before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. The next item on the agenda is new business. Madam Clerk.
Referral 26-0211, authorize a grant agreement with New York State for aid relating to the purchase and installation of an air bottle fill station and radio equipment for the Monroe County Airport Fire Department project at the Frederick Douglass Greater Rochester International Airport.
Moved by
Second.
Legislator Vasquez-Simmons, seconded by Legislator Cruz. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Next item.
Referral 26-0222, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services pursuant to raise the age legislation for the Office of Probation Community Corrections.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by legislator Vasquez Simmons, seconded by legislator Cruz. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 26-0223, acceptance of a grant from the United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs for the fiscal year 2025 DNA Capacity Enhancement Program.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by legislator Vasquez Simmons, seconded by legislator Cruz. Is there any discussion? Legislator Dondorfer.
Thank you, sir. Through the chair to the administration, any idea why there's such a large decrease in this funding?
Through the chair. Good evening. I'm Gail Conklin, the DNA technical leader from the crime laboratory. As far as I understand, the entire pool for the country was all decreased, so each individual laboratory had a corresponding decrease in the funding.
Great, thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 26-0224, authorize a contract with Center for Governmental Research for the Conflict Defender's Office Recruitment Planning.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by legislator Vasquez Simmons, seconded by legislator Cruz. Is there any discussion? Legislator McCabe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through the chair, were there any other respondents to this RFP?
Richard Tantello, Director of Public Safety for the County of Monroe, and they were the only submission.
Thank you. And follow-up through the chair to the administration. Why is this contract necessary, and what can't the Conflict Defender's Office, working with County HR and DEI, do that this contract can?
In this particular situation, one of the things that we were looking at is the number of vacancies that exist within the Conflict Defender's Office. And public defense, they're not the only department, but that's the one department, obviously, that's within the Department of Public Safety. And this opportunity presented to us where we could seek outside direction, and certainly that's no reflection on the HR department, but to be able to move forward in a more positive direction and see what is out there for us to be able to tap into and provide those that are underserved, perhaps in public defense, the opportunity for greater representation.
Any other discussion?
Yes.
Legislator Stephenson.
Just as a point of interest, I have done some independent contract work with the CGR in the past, so I may have to recuse myself from this vote.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
One opposed? So noted.
Yeah, one opposed. Next item.
Referral 26-0225, acceptance of a supplemental aid to defense grant, New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services for the Monroe County Office of the Public Defender, Conflict Defender's Office, and the assigned council administration.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by legislator Vasquez Simmons, seconded by legislator Cruz. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 26-0226, acceptance of an aid to defense grant from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services for the Discovery Reform Program for the Monroe County Office of the Public Defender, the Conflict Defender's Office, and the assigned council administration.
Move it.
Moved by legislator Vasquez Simmons, seconded by legislator Stephenson. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 26-0227, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services for the District Attorney's Office, the Office of the Sheriff, and the Department of Public Safety, Office of Probation, Community Corrections for the Gun-Involved Violence Elimination Partnership.
Move it.
Moved by legislator Vasquez Simmons, seconded by legislator Stephenson. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Next item.
Referral 26-0228, acceptance of a grant for the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services for the Operation Stone Garden Program and authorize intermunicipal agreements with the towns of Greece, Arundecoit, and Webster.
Move it.
Moved by legislator Cruz, seconded by legislator Burgess. Is there any discussion? Legislator Smith.
Yes, through the chair to the administration, to confirm voting no on this, if this were to fail, nothing stops this program, correct? It would simply shift the cost onto local taxpayers?
Through the chair, Chief Deputy Fowler for the Sheriff's Office. That's correct. We would have to find a way to accomplish it with our current operating budget.
Any other discussion?
Yes.
Legislator Cruz.
No, go ahead. I would like to explain my vote. Is this something I got to stand up for?
Pardon me?
Do I have to? No, all right, good, thank you.
We can hear you.
I thought that I had to stand up, but just want to make a point of clarification. But anyways, I appreciate the Sheriff's Office for issuing a public response and for reaffirming several important commitments, including that Monroe County does not participate in the 287G agreements, is not authorized to enforce federal immigration law under Title VIII, does not routinely inquire about an individual's immigration status, and must comply with the New York State law, which limits local involvement in civil immigration enforcement. These commitments are meaningful and help distinguish Monroe County from jurisdictions that have chosen to take a more direct role in immigration enforcement. However, my concerns extend beyond the legal authority to enforce immigration law. Public perception is just as important as the legal authority. Operation Stone Garden is a Department of Homeland Security program administered in partnership with U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. Regardless of how Monroe County chooses to implement the grant, many immigrants' families associated with the DHS and CBP within detention, deportation, and family separations for survivors of violence, victims of crime, asylum seekers, and mixed-status families, the distinction between local law enforcement and federal immigration agency is often unclear. As a result, participation in a federally funded border security initiatives can unintentionally reinforce fears that local law enforcement is connected to immigration enforcement, even when that is not its purpose. The Sheriff's Office has explained that the Operation Stone Garden is intended to combat terrorism, drug trafficking, weapon trafficking, and human trafficking. These are legitimate public safety priorities that we fully support. At the same time, the grant exists within a broader federal border security framework, and community members understandably question whether participation could increase indirect collaboration with federal immigration authorities or influence policies priorities over time. My concerns are informed not only by perception but also by experience. Based on cases my office has personally handled, we have seen situations where immigration enforcement actions began after the Monroe County Sheriff's Office contacted the U.S. Customs and Border Protection during a law enforcement stop. While we recognize these contacts may occur under limited investigative circumstances, they have lasting consequences for community trust. Many immigrants, victims, and witnesses fear that contact law enforcement could ultimately lead to immigration consequences for themselves or their loved ones. We also want to acknowledge the progress that has been made through ongoing meetings, open communications, and the Sheriff's February Policy Directive reaffirming compliance with the New York State law and limiting involvement in civil immigration enforcement. We have seen meaningful efforts to strengthen relationships with immigrant communities. We appreciate this willingness to engage in a dialogue and recognize that these conversations have improved over the years. Nevertheless, it's still important work ahead. Trust is built not only through written policies, but through consistent practice and the life experience of community members. Fear remains a significant barrier that prevents many individuals from reporting crimes, serving as witnesses, or seeking help when they need it most. When victims are afraid to call the police, public safety is weakened for everyone. For that reason, we encourage continued transparency regarding Operation Stone Garden. While we understand that certain operation details must remain confidential for security reasons, additional public accountability will help strengthen community confidence. We encourage considerations of annual public reports describing how Operation Stone Garden funds are utilized, aggregate data regarding deployment and outcomes, public reporting of requests for assistance from federal immigration authorities related to Operation Stone Garden activities, and continue oversight and dialogue with the county legislation and community stakeholders. Transparency benefits both law enforcement and the community they are serving. As New York continues to strengthen protections that reinforce the distinction between local policies and federal immigration enforcement, including recently enacted legislation intended to limit collaboration between local law enforcement and federal immigration authorities in civil immigration matters, we believe Monroe County has an opportunity to lead by example. Rather than simply meeting the minimum legal requirements, we can embrace a more community-centered approach that prioritizes trust, transparency, and public safety. By continuing to reduce this perception of collaboration with federal immigration enforcement, Monroe County can encourage victims and witnesses to come forward without fear, strengthening public safety for everyone. We respectfully believe this is our moment to build on the progress already made and to pursue solution that fosters confidence, accountability, and a meaningful partnership between local law enforcement and the community they serve. Ultimately, our organization believes public safety and immigration inclusion are complementary goals, not competing ones. The question is not simply whether local law enforcement has the legal authority to enforce immigration law. Rather, it is whether participation in federal-funded border security initiatives strengthens or undermines the trust of the very communities whose cooperation is essential to effective policing. We and I remain committed to work collaboratively with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, the county legislation, and my colleagues, other elected officials, and community partners to ensure that Monroe County remains both safe and welcoming for every resident, regardless of whether they are born here or not. Thank you again for your leadership to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and your commitment to foster an open dialogue on this important issue. With that, I will be voting no on this. Border security is extremely important, and I rather have that be done by federal agents and not our local law enforcement. Thank you.
Legislator Stephenson?
Thank you. And thank you for that, Legislator Santos. Unlike many of my colleagues in here, I have over 52 years in law enforcement, 25 with the Rochester Police Department and 27 with the Coast Guard, right here in the region of Monroe County, from the Erie, Lake Erie down in Cleveland up to the St. Lawrence Seaway. And so this program that we're talking about today impacted me directly, having served in the Coast Guard during that period of when it was 2009 that it was implemented. And again, I retired in 2014. The reason why I want to explain my vote is because of the fact that even though I'm voting no, I do understand from both working in those capacities that this is not a direct impact on the budget and the everyday practices of the Rochester Police Department or the United States Coast Guard and the Border Patrol and Customs agents that I worked with in Department of Homeland Security. Looking at this current political climate, discretion, transparency, the reading of the letter that the sheriffs sent out, and I thank the sheriff's office for sending that out, and being intentional in saying that they would not intentionally cooperate and go out and seek to be a part of the federal actions that are being taken place by ICE. But nonetheless, I do understand from working in the capacity of law enforcement that when the call comes out for assistance, you're not going to not show up. And that can place our Monroe County sheriffs in a very precarious position to support Border Patrol or Customs in an ICE agent. And I think that is why many of our constituents who reached out to us to say that they wanted us to vote no is because they understand from looking at the national landscape how something like that can happen here. And then it will place our many law enforcement officers who live in our communities in that position now to have been put on a national platform. And so I do know that the work will continue under the current budget. I do know that this money in this grant would be beneficial. I understand that it is something that comes around every 3 years, and so we can circle back to support this under a different administration with a different mission and focus and behaviors and practices. So again, my support for law enforcement will be ongoing, but my vote for no is not against law enforcement or their efforts to go out and secure the borders here in upstate New York. And so I just want to be able to explain to those who did reach out that the vote for no is not an anti-vote, but that of one of supporting our community and making sure that we are safe and that we're not assisting what is currently going on nationally. And that is why I'm voting no. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Legislator Donover.
Thank you. I have a couple questions for the Sheriff's Office. In regards to your letter through the chair to the Sheriff's Office, can you just explain some of the tasks that will be undertaken by the deputies through this grant, please?
Through the chair, the primary emphasis on this is a deterrence patrol, that visible presence that deters any attempt to cross the border with anything that might be harmful to the citizens. There is also an additional task. The Marine unit is very much involved with this when they're notified and they become aware of Marine vessels crossing the lake or working along the border. Very often those are just recreational boaters, but we do understand the risk of the potential of attempting to transport weapons, drugs, human trafficking, all that sort of thing. We have a port in the city of Rochester that is basically unprotected with the exception of the Sheriff's Marine Unit and one Coast Guard vessel. So there are plenty of opportunities, and we understand the risks that could potentially take place, but the majority of our efforts are focused on deterrence and being able to respond to those suspicious activities that tend to lead us to believe that there's trafficking taking place. Lastly, it provides us the financial network to be able to conduct investigations that require additional resources. For example, even those involving the post office, a shipment of weapons coming from international borders into our post office in Rochester that require a massive multi-agency investigation and often undercover work and search warrants to track them to where those weapons are being delivered. That all becomes very expensive and manpower intensive, and that's part of the reason that these funds exist for us.
Thank you for that. I'm going to yield for now.
Any other discussion?
Yes. Through you, Chair, to Sheriff Fowler.
Hold on. Legislator Stephenson.
Are we good?
We're good.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Minority Leader McCabe. Again, through you, Chair, to Sheriff Fowler, are you aware of the Customs Border Patrol website statistics for U.S. Border Patrol terrorism-related encounters, the fiscal year 26? Are you aware of the stats for how many?
Through the chair, I'm aware that that exists, but I do not make it a practice to memorize their statistics, no.
Okay. I'm going to read off here. It says Southwestern Border, 85 entry non-U.S. citizens encounters. Northern Border, 2, a total of 87. I know that 90% of the drug interdiction, gun, and human trafficking events that take place are within the northern region, North Country, near Vermont, unlike this region here. So again, I do understand the emphasis on being available to the potential of a crossing on Lake Ontario, but I would be remiss to sit here and be told that the vessels out there are actually having that many encounters when we have on the statistical data from the Border Patrol of how many are taking place in our area, just on the northern border, not even just to be specific to Monroe County. And I yield my mic.
Legislator McCabe.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to explain my vote in support of accepting the Operation Stone Garden grant. This should be a straightforward public safety vote based on facts, not false narratives, manufactured fears, or political theater. Monroe County has participated in Operation Stone Garden since 2009. The program helps local law enforcement, including my town, DeGrease Police Department, prevent terrorism, protect critical infrastructure, and combat drug, weapons, and human trafficking. As the Sheriff's Office has made clear countless times, accepting this grant does not turn Monroe County deputies into ICE agents. It does not authorize them to enforce federal immigration law, grant them federal powers, or require them to check immigration status. Deputies remain under the direction of the Sheriff's Office, and these operations do not result in joint federal patrols. The voting history makes this clear, that this is political theater. Some of the same legislators now leading the opposition have voted to accept this funding in previous years. Legislators Barnhart voted yes for years. Legislator Vasquez Simmons has voted yes. Legislator Cruz has voted yes. And pointing to a change in the president or the leadership of ICE does not justify that reversal. Neither changes the authority of the Monroe County deputies under this agreement. The grant does not suddenly change. Its public safety purpose did not suddenly change. Yet now, a routine public safety grant focused on preventing terrorism, combating drugs, weapons, and human trafficking is being falsely weaponized to score cheap political points through fear-mongering about President Trump and ICE. A no vote will not stop ICE, rebuke President Trump, or change federal immigration policy. It will not even eliminate these specific public safety responsibilities. If this fails, the work would continue and local taxpayers would be forced to foot the bill. I will not force our local taxpayers to pay more for political theater based on a false narrative. I am voting yes because I support responsible public safety funding, our local law enforcement agencies, including my hometown in Greece, and decisions based on facts, not fear, misinformation, or partisan convenience. I am voting yes because I support responsible public safety funding, our local law enforcement agencies, and decisions based on facts, not fear, misinformation, or again, partisan convenience. Thank you. I yield, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion? Legislator Cruz.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I do acknowledge that we have been accepting these funds since 2009, but under that same mentality, I gotta acknowledge that the Democratic Party didn't have a majority in 2009, and we just recently received that throughout our last set of elections, and then 2 years ago when we took 2 more seats. So times are changing. Point number one. Point number two, I did vote yes on this once after conversations were had with the Sheriff's Office, and based on trust and conversation that we had, I elaborated publicly on this floor the same sentiment that I just shared today about the trust and mistrust that our community is sharing.
Point of order?
He's in violation of Robert's rules. He's speaking against the motion he made. He made the motion to move this forward, so it's
I am
in
explaining my
violation.
vote.
He can't speak. He's explained his vote already. He's in violation.
Some accusations were made from our parties from the other side, and I would just like the chance to answer.
It's 4325, just to be specific, the quote in Robert's rules.
The parliamentarian is going to go to work here. Back soon.
I just like to keep him employed.
I think that it's important that our voters hear us out. Yes, sir.
So you already explained your vote. So according to the Robert's Rules of Order, you can't,
Because he made the motion.
because you made the motion. So you've said your piece. Any other discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Pardon me?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'd like to explain my vote.
Legislator Burgess.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to explain my vote. I have voted yes for this in the past. At this point, I am a no. And you know, I'm a bit torn as the family member of an FBI agent, and actually the Special Agent Edwin R. Woodruff, who was the first African-American FBI agent killed in the line of duty. So as I carry the responsibility of Uncle Woody, I also carry the responsibility of the people to do my due diligence and make sure that we're moving in the right direction as a county. So I will be voting no.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote?
Mr. Burgess. Mr. Burgess votes no. Mr. Cruz.
No.
Mr. Cruz votes no. Mr. Dondorfer. Mr. Dondorfer votes yes. Mr. Vice Chairman Mafucci.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Mafucci votes yes. Mr. McCabe. Mr. McCabe votes yes. Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith votes yes. Mr. Stefferson.
No.
Mr. Stefferson votes no. Ms. Vasquez Simmons.
No.
Ms. Vasquez Simmons votes no. Chairman Long.
Yes.
Chairman Long votes yes. 5-4, referral passes.
Next item.
Referral 26-0240, amend Resolution 214 of 2024 to increase the intermunicipal agreement with the Fairport Central School District for the purchase of fuel for vehicles for the Monroe County Sheriff's Office.
Move it.
Moved by legislator Vasquez Simmons, seconded by legislator Stephenson. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Next item.
Referral 26-0242, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services for the fiscal year 2023 Technical Rescue and Urban Search and Rescue Grant Program.
Move it.
Moved by legislator Vasquez Simmons, seconded by legislator Stephenson. Is there any discussion? Legislator Dondorfer.
Thank you. Through the chair to the administration, why is this a matter of importance?
Through the chair, it was a timing issue. All the grant awards have been delayed. Projects are on hold, so we thought it was prudent to move it as a matter of importance to be able to collect the grant dollars and allocate them across the three agencies for spending.
Thank you. Through the chair to the administration, then what exactly is this grant money going towards?
As the grantee, Monroe County is the grantee. Three agencies are involved in a collaborative approach to this. First agency will be Rochester Fire Department. Second agency will be our own Monroe County Fire Bureau, and the third agency will be Genesee County Emergency Management. Each agency has put forward a spending plan that involves for Rochester Fire Department, about $75,000 in acquisition of personal protective equipment, pants, coats, helmets, and footwear. Our Fire Bureau has put forth about an $8,000 budget for gear storage bags and other related items. And then unique Genesee County Emergency Management is establishing animal capture and restraint equipment and related items based on the number of large animals they have out there that might be involved in a USAR type event.
Very good. Thank you. I yield.
Any other discussion? Legislator Cruz.
I would like to declare my interest.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 26-0244, enacting a local law amending Part 4, General Local Laws of Monroe County to add a new chapter entitled Monroe County Animal Abuse Registration Act.
Move it.
Moved by legislator Vasquez Simmons, seconded by legislator Stephenson and legislator Smith. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Are there any other matters to come before this committee? There being no other matters, the July 28th, 2026 meeting of the Public Safety Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Public Safety Committee will be Tuesday, August 25th at 5:30.